Hey guys, I'm Brianna, and welcome to my Geekdom, where I take a little bit of time to talk about the things I love from TTRPGs, TV, books, and some news out of Comic Con this week for the MCU. I hope you enjoy these things just as much as I do. First, has nothing to do with anything, but I found this little guy at the Dollar Tree today. I decided to name her Denise just because she kind of gives me the vibes of a friend I had back in high school. She's just so cute, and I thought you'd like to see. Anyway, starting us off after that is going to be, I saw on Geek Tyrant that at New York Comic Con they released the trailer for Vision Quest, bringing back, I still hate saying it so much even though I know it's his character name, White Vision from the MCU after the events of WandaVision. Woo! How did I forget that title? So the biggest thing from the short recap that they had is that we are going to be getting human versions of Ultron, Jarvis, Friday, and Edith. So that's going to be all of the AIs are going to have human forms. James Spader is going to be back as Ultron, and this seems like a silly thing to focus on, but I just really like them as a couple, so I'm really curious if we'll be seeing Jennifer Connelly as the human form of Friday, joining her husband Paul Bettany on screen. Big fan of WandaVision. If you find the handful of episodes of Geek Girl versus Nerd Boy, you'll see me and my friend Russell talking about our feelings about WandaVision as it was airing. And Agatha all along, just friggin' brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I don't even have any other words. I think I've watched it like 4 times. I've got nothing else to say. So I'm really excited to see where Vision Quest is going to go and the exploration of Vision as an AI versus a human, or what entity he believes he is and how that's going to affect his choices in the MCU and where it's going to go from there. Next, we're going to head over into TTRPGs with a little segue. The trailer for the Mighty Nine dropped. So we've got, Lucy Liu, Ming-Na Wen, and Nathan Fillion as big voices that will be appearing in the Mighty Nine. Yasha was missing from the trailer, and I know that they've said why. I just can't remember what it is, which is going to be a big theme today, because I've got a ton of notes, which you'll see my eyes keep going down to read and refer to, except I seem to have left out very big pieces of information. Again, this show is going to be a work in progress. It's just me, and sometimes I'm a little too overconfident in my memory for as many concussions as I've had over the years. Yeah, I gotta work on that. But my biggest question, do you guys think that was the chair? If you know, you know. I think it was the chair. So we will find out. They also announced the names of some of the voices for the next season of Vox Machina, but the big one is going to be Wayne Brady as Taryn Darrington, so that'll be really exciting. This is going to pull us over into a few more highlights, a lot more feelings and opinions, more in depth than that first episode on season 4 of Critical Role from me. Big D20 moment for Travis Willingham. Tayor got to lift, and I imagine it anime style, with that D20 when all he needed was a 5 to lift that box, and I just see it going whoosh into the distance where it turns into the little star and goes ding. But Brennan gave Travis a L'Oreal commercial. He gave a fucking lion a L'Oreal commercial. I see the sun shining, hitting him, and it was great. I am a Leo. Anytime a lion gets to shine like that, like, why do we always get D20s for the smallest things or the most ridiculous things? The dice, the dice gods, they have their own sense of humor, which I respect, mainly because I have to, or else I shall be punished. Yeah, so that was the biggest highlight for me. It was really cool to meet Tyranny's family, who are very much not up to anything. No, there's just total innocence there with Sam and Wykander's family, who, of course, demons just happen to love to serve people who are there to help everybody all the time. Yep, there is absolutely nothing weird about gaining magic, draining the blood of an angel in the basement. Totally fine, everything's cool. But on a very serious note, Agony is awesome. I want more of Agony. I can't wait to see what is up with her, so that's super exciting. Then when we went over and saw Taliesin and Murray in the museum, Belair's museum is dope. That place is cool. I want it to be real. I want to explore in there. It seems really cool. There, he found that note that was left for Thiazi with a dagger hanging on a wall. Like, in my world, that's my dagger. All of my characters, if they see a loose dagger, that's their dagger now. If they see a dagger strapped to somebody's side or sticking out of a boot, that's still their dagger, especially my character Holly, who, like I said in the first game, I really love Chaos characters. I enjoy playing them, and Tyranny was definitely giving off those vibes, but so is Thimble. And this episode really reminded me a lot of my favorite character that I play, Holly, who is also a rogue. She's a little gnome rogue. And I miss playing her. She lost all of her knives in the last game that we got to play. So when they're like, oh, there's a knife, I'm like, nah, that's my knife. This is completely off topic. I'm just having feelings today. Especially at the end of the episode when Thimble starts a fight with a bunch of rogues and a thieves guild. Like, fucking great. I love it. Let's see where that goes. And in the space of 2 episodes, Thimble has been in danger 3 times. Granted, it wasn't her fault in the opening when Brennan's like, hey, roll for death saves, welcome to the game, I hope you have a backup. That's not on Thimble. Laura didn't do anything. She just sat down at the table. And then when they did the opening with the flashback, yeah, they're in a war. Of course, there's going to be danger there. But walking into that Thieves Guild and addressing the head of the Thieves Guild like that one's on Laura. She did that. Thimble, 100%. That one's on her. Let's see here. Why did he say I'm fine if you... Oh, right. Okay. So the box, when Belair's examining that box, which Abria's character, whose name is escaping me right now because there's so many, she had originally opened the box, and then Belair yelled at her, took it away to the museum for him and Murray to study. If a DM says they're totally fine with you not opening the box, that's BS. We all know that's BS. The only time it's not BS is when they haven't planned something for it. But then, I mean, that's on us if we're running a game if we didn't plan for them to do something. Because our players are always going to do something. It's going to be a pain, but that's why we love it. That's why we play the game. And that's also why I've heard, I haven't seen any of it yet, mainly because I don't go looking for it, but people are bashing Abria for how she's playing. I was on Instagram and I saw a few different things talking about that. What the hell, man? It's 2 episodes and she's the button pusher. The best part is she's not the energy of the button pusher. She's just a curious character with, she's got a big personality. She's not like Thimble or Tyranny, where they're going to be like, ooh, a button because it's shiny. She, like, yeah. This is how we get the game going. This is how we play. This is how we move the story along. It's fine if you're not the button pusher. You don't have to be, but somebody does. And I've noticed a lot that viewers get mad at button pushers. They get even angrier at button pushers if they are a woman. And they get the angriest if they are a woman of color. So if you're mad, if you don't like how Abria is playing in 2 games where she never left one building, maybe examine why before you start going off about it, okay? Alright, some other highlights. Oh, Julian! Get it, Julian. We're opening up with Matt in bed with a lady and a gentleman being barged in upon by his dad. Okay, now I full on thought that Julian was into Thjazi Fang's wife, his widow, and he could still be. But Matt, like, did he just want to bang? Because I thought as GM, he got to be all the characters doing all the banging. But now he wants to really focus in with Julian here. It was a fun intro, especially after how aggressive and how much hate we saw from Julian towards Thjazi. I mean, if you're yelling at a corpse, well, he wasn't yelling, but you get what I mean when you're lecturing a corpse about how much you hated that person in real life, you have some very deep-seated issues. Again, examine yourself. Let's see exactly where this story goes for Julian. These darker vibes that we're getting in campaign 4, I dig it a lot. It is very picking up a fantasy novel that's like, here, this is 3 books. This is the size and thickness of the fantasy novel that I imagine when I think about just these 8 episodes, or these 8 hours in 2 episodes of Critical Role. So let's definitely dig in. I can't wait to see where this is going. And I really want to open up. I hope, don't make us wait. Open up on Sam being exposed to this angel who's being tortured. Like, how is he going to react? Is he going to run away? Is Tyranny going to help him? Is Tyranny going to hold him back? I cannot wait to see that. I'm excited. I hope that you guys are just as excited. And finally, my biggest thing, Pin and Wulfric, such good boys. They're such good boys. Pin's a cute little dead fox, and he's got his little button eyeballs. So cute. And Wulfric opening up the window for Cadigan to climb in. Loved it. Loved it. Give me all the animals. Nobody hurt the animals. I will come for you. I see you, Brennan. And I will come for you. Anyways, those are my highlights from this last week's episode of Critical Role. Cannot wait for Thursday. Probably won't be watching it Thursday. I've got some other plans going on, so I'll be avoiding spoilers across the internet and all the platforms until I can see it on Monday. But yes, this is very exciting. I like that things are picking up now. It's hard to give feelings and responses to a first episode when you're just being introduced to all these characters, but the second episode, when you're starting to see who they are and they get to act and move and do more things than just be sad or angry or any of the other stages of grief, then yeah, it's pretty awesome. And I really love watching all of these players. This is very different from any of the other TTRPGs or live plays that I watch/listen to. So I'm excited that we get to watch Brennan really dig in and explore with how Critical Role does things versus how Dimension 20 does things. And of course, what he does on his own with Abria, Erika Ishii, and Lou Wilson over on Numbers Beyond? World Beyond Numbers! I knew it. I knew the name. So, Worlds Beyond Numbers, I listened to like the first 3 episodes, maybe 4, but there's just so much entertainment across all of the platforms that you can't keep up with all of them all of the time, and that's a lot of, as much as I love all of those players, that is a lot of them for me between Dimension 20 and now Critical Role. What was I just talking about? But my very good friend said, "Hey, Brianna, have you been listening? Do you know about Hint?" Hint is a short now that the main campaign for Worlds Beyond Numbers has ended, and it is based off of Clue. So Lou Wilson is playing Professor Plum, Abria Iyengar playing Mrs. White, and Brennan Lee Mulligan as Mr. Green, with Erika Ishii as the narrator and every other voice in the game. Loving it. Of course, again, I love a good murder mystery. Let's see what's up. But highlights from over there, watch it, because listening to the highlights here isn't the same as hearing them in the actual gameplay. So the characters are invited to the mansion of their friend, Mr. Body, Rutherford. There we go, Rutherford Body. And he has, like, he's that rich jerk, but somehow we all still love him. So he sent all of the servants, everybody home, so that he can hang out with his friends. They have a nice dinner. Miss White used to be she's a chef, so somehow she ends up in the kitchen doing the cooking because he's a sexist jerk. But again, somehow everybody still loves him. And eventually, just like in Clue, they've set up the different instruments. They find his body and they're putting together how he was murdered. There was a gunshot, but upon closer inspection, he appears to also have been hit in the head, starting with the assumption that it was the candlestick, but now seeming more like it's the lead pipe. And Erika Ishii has set up some great clues all throughout the mansion, which is really fun watching them put it together. These are the highlights. If you are a Dimension 20 fan, if you are a Brennan Lee Mulligan fan, then you know when he screams out, "I wish I knew bird facts," exactly how funny it is. Okay, goddamn. That poor man will never be free of birds, ever. Abria is walking around with flour in her purse that she is using to find blood and look up people's fingerprints. She's going old school fingerprinting with some flour to see if they're finding that on different weapons, which is super nifty. Lou, I'm kind of thinking Professor Plum had a hand in this somehow. I'm not really sure as to why, but he's being quieter. I mean, what's up, Lou? What's going on? Is Professor Plum the candy magnet who's inventing Reese's cups? Like, God, it's so fucking great. It's just great. I love it. He's just walking around with chocolate in his pockets, which I respect. So, yeah, I think he's just being a little too quiet, and I need to know what's up there. But finally, the very last highlight is Brennan going, somehow he had announced, like, that his character's a father. He's like, yeah, I'm a 43-year-old lawyer. I'm married. I have 3 kids. His wife kept her name Chartreuse, and our 3 children, Kelly, Forrest, and Mint. It's so dumb. I love it so much. Kelly, Forrest, and Montgomery. And they had to stop playing. Oh, God. They had to stop playing to handle it. Anyways, I can't wait. I need more of Hint. This has been great. I'm wondering what other board games. God damn it, Montgomery. Okay, I'm fine. I'm back. The announcement for the Puppy Roll 2, hosted and narrated Game Master Anjali Bhamani. Oh my god, I just butchered her name. I am so sorry. She's amazing. I love her. She's stupid hot as well. Just putting that out there because I think it needs to be said like all of the time. The Puppy Roll 2, The Rise of Gato. So this was a charity event where players were playing their dogs with D&D game rules and setups. So I've already forgotten again. I need to definitely work on how I do my notes. But Matt Mercer will be reprising playing Omar. We have Ashley Johnson. Oh shoot, I had another name and it just went right out of my mind. Abria Iyengar will be playing Suvi again, who is her wizard, who is also her wizard. It's in Worlds Beyond Numbers, but not her dog. Like, just her regular character that she named her dog after. You can, I'm sure, find the Puppy Roll somewhere on YouTube to watch again and see what's going on. I'll probably be watching it again before The Rise of Gato. Basically, I'm just excited. I love animals, I love TTRPGs, and I can't wait to see what's up. The next big thing is I actually forgot about it completely, and when Hint ended, Spotify just went straight into the first episode of Push the Roll with Ross Bryant. Fan of Ross Bryant from Dimension 20. Again, always he is in the best episode of Game Changer, in my opinion, where he and I believe their team is the Improvised Shakespeare Company. There we go. I got it. I knew one thing, guys. Yay! So they improvise entire Shakespeare episode or plays, and in the episode of Game Changer, you know, Sam's at the wheel giving them all the prompts and challenges, and goddamn, it is the hottest thing I have ever seen in my life. Just 3 grown men being able to improvise Shakespeare on the spot like that with serial names and Count Chocula. Huh. You might also know Ross Bryant from the episode of The Good Place, I believe it's in season 2, where he's playing a demon waiter when they're all down in the museum trying to get out, and he corners them and Janet's asking, hey, what's this event going on? That is Ross Bryant, who is talking with Janet and explaining exactly what's happening in hell at the moment, or in the bad place. Good place, bad place. They never say hell, I apologize. I should know that. Anyways, in Push the Roll, I have never played Call of Cthulhu, so this is completely new to me. They are improvising, and it's not full games. They said it's going to be like 2 or 3 episode arcs of, they'll take suggestions, and then they have pre-made character sheets, but they improvise the characters on the spot. They improvise everything else as they're playing the game, and that is super cool. The first 2 episodes, I'm not even done with the second episode yet, are just the introductories for people like me, for the noobs who don't know the rules yet. So it's really interesting to see where that's gonna go. Don't quite have a grasp on it, but the more they play, I'm sure I'll pick it up as they go. I am excited to see this, excited to listen to them and see what's going on there. So that is everything going on that I know about and love in TTRPGs. If you guys have any thoughts or feelings on Critical Role, Push the Roll, if you're excited for the Puppy Roll, let me know. Let's talk about it. I want to know what's going on with you too. Alright, so I'm going to hop on over to a quick update on the books I'm reading, because I need help and I need accountability to not DNF this book. Where is it? The Fairy Bargains of Prospect Hill. I am so 50-50 on this book. I'm almost at the halfway point. I'm like 30 or 40 pages shy. This is from my pile of books when I had mentioned in that first episode that I decided to do a challenge of literally judging a book by its cover and title to see what's going on. Look at this. It's gorgeous. Look at all the pretty flowers. Look at the ladies down here. The author's name is even Rowena, what is it? Rowena Miller? That's a damn magical name. We've got buttons, so what this book is about is two sisters from Prospect Hill, where there is a fairy ring that their grandfather, it opens up with their grandfather Horatio stumbling across a fairy in a fairy ring. And by pure luck, he doesn't fuck up and makes a bargain with the fairy, gets a piece of land on Prospect Hill, falls in love, and starts a family. So they have a family orchard and farm on the hill, and it is very common in this area for the old families, as they refer to them as, to make classical bargains with fairies. But they're in danger of losing the orchard. We have the two sisters, Eileen and Delphine. I don't like when stories open with weddings. I don't know why. It's such a specific thing not to like. Either give me the romance where they're learning to fall in love, or give me the relationship after they got married for the ups and downs and struggles. But actual weddings, I've never really enjoyed a book that started with one. So this is starting with Delphine's wedding, and she is marrying an asshole. An asshole named Pierce. He is rich. His family owns a glass making company? Steel making? Dang. I swear to God I know these things. So she is marrying into this upper class family and leaving the family farm. Eileen wants to stay. She wants to run the orchard. She has been running the orchard. She has a great relationship with her husband, Jack, who seems like a great guy. He is a lawyer. He fully supports her. It's set in the early 1900s. And she's accused of many as being a suffragette. That horrible, horrible word. How dare she? She runs for and makes a fairy bargain to become the president of the Farm Association, the Agricultural Association. And as it goes, so it's starting off with how Eileen is not too keen on Delphine's wedding, and she's worrying about the orchard and how they're going to make mortgage payments, and what about her mom and their great-grandpa Horatio. She's trying to run a business, so she's not as into the fancy wedding and impressing the rich new in-laws. Their priorities are different. One is not better than the other, but they are different, and each thinks that the other should be thinking a little bit more about that either side of the coin, if you will. But they can't. They have things going. These are separate lives and separate things. Delphine has never felt like she was part of the orchard or the family, but she still loves it. She loves everybody. That's not what it's about. She's just trying to find her place in society. And she gets married. She goes on her honeymoon. Pierce has built her this giant house, which she decorated and came up with the design for. Except it's slowly starting to turn out that he is an abusive asshole. At one point, she returns home for the harvest of the cherries, and he drives from Perrysburg because he figures out that when she says, hey, I'm going to go help with the harvest, she means she's actually physically in the orchard helping with the harvest. And how dare she? Because he is going to be running for office. She's part of his family now, and they have a respectable name. A respectable lady cannot be climbing ladders with dirt under her nails. How dare she? And when he shows up, he demands to talk to Jack. Jack, how can you run your farm like this? This man doesn't care about Delphine. He doesn't care about her family. And there's a line where Eileen literally says that, or she thinks it because she's visiting them in Perrysburg, about how he only wants a pretty woman to sit there and make him look good. And Delphine is so much more than that. Now, Delphine has made a friend named Ida, who is a young woman who's in college, and she's studying myths and lore, and specifically fairy bargains, which is something that when she learns where Delphine and Eileen are from, she's like, great, this is fantastic. When we switch back over to the orchard, Eileen is terrified that they're going to lose the orchard. And the cherries won't be a good harvest. They don't have any money. They're behind on their mortgage payments. So her Aunt Imogen tells her that something that her grandmother never taught them is that you can make your own fairy circle. They only have ever stuck to the tried and true fairy bargains. To make your own fairy circle, you plant the flowers in a ring. You have to bury something of importance at the center of the ring, and then you have to create your own bargain. So she bargains with the fairies for a successful harvest, and what she had buried in the center was a ring that Jack had given her, and what she bargained with was basically a prized chicken. And when they woke up in the morning, the chicken was violently deboned, absolutely scarring her child, Emily. Like, there's a mess in the middle of this fairy orchard. And Jack is mad. He doesn't have anything to do with the bargains. That is Eileen's territory. That is he doesn't cross that line. He doesn't know what's up. He respects what they do. And he believes in it and he trusts it, but he's not gonna fuck with it. And now something this violent and scary has happened in his own backyard, literally, that it causes the first fight and the first kind of fracture between this couple that we see. Now, the thing that is making me go back and forth is that the world building is amazing, but the story is moving along slow. When I hear the title, The Fairy Bargains of Prospect Hill, it just makes me think that we're going to be doing a lot of bargaining, that it's going to happen quickly. But it takes over 100 pages for this to really start. So I get it that they really wanted to build in how much Pierce sucks and the emotional baggage of both Eileen and Delphine and how they feel in regards to each other and family and things that they want from life and what they're willing to risk and do for it. So I get that. It's so slow. But there keep being moments where I'm getting practical magic, and I mean the movie, not the book, because I've never read the book, so I can't be 100% sure, but I get practical magic vibes. You get that coziness. You feel that the way the home is described, like how their garden and home looks in practical magic, but I also want them to kill Pierce so bad. I want them to off this guy. He is horrible. He's not physically abusive, but he's just a jerk, and it's inches away from becoming physical. And I can easily see something happening where they make a bargain with a fairy to bring him back because, oh no, I screwed up. Or maybe they make a bargain to change him, change his personality, and that's what gets him off. I don't know. That's the vibe I'm getting. So I want to see that. I want to see where that goes, if my vibe is right, or if I'm completely off the mark. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's going to be a very dark story, so I'm probably wrong, which is fine. I don't mind being wrong. I'm okay with it. But it's so slow. I gotta stick with it. If you've read this book, please let me know, tell me, encourage me to keep going. Because no book is ever a waste, but sometimes they are a drag, and that's okay. The other thing is that I am finishing off Holly Jackson's The Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I read the first and second book, and I'm in the third one, Good Girl, Bad Blood, which is the conclusion to the trilogy, and I'm having a hard time there as well because it's the emotional consequences and toll of a 17-year-old solving crime, solving murder, solving cold cases, and being ignored by the police, the violence that's occurred to her. She has every right to have emotional reactions and PTSD. That is proper. That is the correct reaction to all the things she's gone through. She's starting to feel a little bit crazy because she's found 2 dead birds. One of them didn't have a head. She's found these chalk outlines of headless little stick figures, but then nobody else really sees it, so she's starting to go a little bit crazy. She's starting to depend on like, I think it's Xanax is what she's taking. She's getting illegally, and she's using it to try and sleep. So all of this stress is important, and I get it. My drawback is such a petty... I don't want to deal with the emotions. Emotions are in real life. These big, scary things she's going through, and I think that is literally, I like it in books, I do, and television, I swear, I have just had an emotional time as of recently, so that is why it's currently a little bit harder for me as a reader to get into that. And then I flip over to the Fairy Bargains of Prospect Hill, where it's just slower, and I'm struggling, that's all. So they're good. In no way am I saying either of these things are bad. I'm just struggling. So please, if you have finished either of these books, let me know, encourage me, hold me accountable, help me out. Alright, that is the highlights of what's been going on in the geekdom right now. The biggest thing that I wanted to talk about that I'm going to show y'all, I have pages of notes on, is because, look, so many pages. I know my lighting is weird. Again, I'm not a professional. I'm barely tech literate. I'm proud enough that I've done this, but I keep hitting the mic. So, yeah, please bear with me. What's been going on is I have been comfort watching Scorpion, which is a show from the early 2000s about a group of geniuses. It was on CBS, loosely based on real life person and lead of the show, the character Walter O'Brien. So Walter O'Brien, real person, Walter O'Brien, character in the book or in the TV show. And as I'm watching it, I get to season 2 and I'm like, oh yeah, any minute now, we're going to get to the therapy episode. I love the therapy episode. And then it sent me on a trail of shorter seasons of TV have taken away the trope and themed episodes that they're classically filler episodes, but the really, really good ones help us understand the characters better. So I went back, I made a list, I rewatched. Where's my list? I would like to believe that I would be more organized one day, but it's probably never going to happen. So I've made a literal list of my biggest ones, the ones that I am always saying to friends and family that are the best episodes of a series. Quarantine episodes, accidentally drugged episodes, and therapy episodes. Why? Trapped episodes take characters, put them in a situation that they can't get out of. It's usually at a volatile time where they are forced to address their emotions. Accidentally drugged episodes usually involve people expressing feelings that they wouldn't normally because they have been accidentally drugged or purposefully drugged. Those ones aren't usually as fun. I did see one recently. It was in season 3 of Will Trent. It's hard to call that one a drugged episode because it's part of a cult episode too. So cult episodes are also great. Same reasoning. And then the therapy episodes, same thing. They're usually taking a character at a high stress time when they are ignoring feelings, ignoring things that are going on, and using therapy as a way to push that character forward, push the storyline forward. So I went back when I made this list and I watched a few of my favorites and I asked some friends and I got their opinions on their favorites. So this is about to turn into a Star Trek fan letter. I am a Star Wars girl. I'm not anti-Star Trek. I need to be, again, very, very clear. Not anti-Star Trek. Just not prioritizing Star Trek. I have seen the original Star Trek multiple times. I have seen every single movie. I've watched Star Trek Enterprise. And I've seen at least one episode of every series, if not a couple. It's just not something that I sat down to watch. I didn't plan to go around watching Star Trek. If it was on, if my mom was watching it, if my stepdad was watching it, if my friend's parents were watching it, then yeah, I've seen it, but it wasn't a highlight for me. So in asking my friends, I was given in Star Trek Strange New Worlds, their musical episode. Again, musical episodes are part of the top tier for themed episodes. So the Strange New Worlds Star Trek episode, and then in TNG I was given, there's an Asylum episode and a therapy episode. So I ended up watching those guys along with, like I said, a few of my favorites. This is not the spot to rank those episodes. I'm simply talking about how we've gone from 22 episode long shows down to 8 episode shows, which would have been a mini series back in the 90s or early 2000s even. But now that's standard on streaming, and I get it. They want short, clean stories that they can put an ending on, not worry about doing a second season, because apparently they just really like screwing with us. Listen, K-dramas, C-dramas, Asian TV shows have always been, but have a higher percentage of single season shows that range in the 8 to 16 episodes. So they keep them shorter, but the episodes are physically longer than ours. Ours are 42 episodes if you're watching an hour-long show. A lot of those episodes range from 1 hour to an hour 15. So they're getting fewer episodes, but longer episodes. Give us back the filler episodes. Give us back the theme episodes. Give us back the yearly, at least one show is doing a Christmas special based off of It's a Wonderful Life. The one that sticks out biggest in my memory is from Popular. Popular was on the WB before it was the CW. And like, I remember it. I don't remember exactly. I remember the character gets sick, they're in the hospital, then they experience the whole what would life be like if I wasn't around. It stuck in my mind. Is the rest of the show very clear in my mind? No, but that sticks out. And it reminds me, when I think back about Popular, why I liked it. Watching Scorpion, my excitement for the therapy episodes. So, in season 1, they have a dedicated therapy episode. It's also a crossover from when NCIS Los Angeles was airing. They have Hetty on helping them out. But that episode is lined up where each of the characters are speaking with a therapist who's analyzing if they are actually able to work for Homeland Security and do the job that they're being asked and hired to do. That episode explains to us who each of those characters are and what their biggest struggle is in their unit. Okay, it lets us know. When I talk about the therapy episode that I was excited for, the characters of Walter and Toby being played by one of my loves, Eddie K. Thomas. Did I just screw up his name? It's fine. So they are at the height of arguing. They are the platonic couple in the show, and they're being punished by going to couples counseling. This is the first episode that has Penn Jillette guest starring as their couples therapist. And what it's doing in that first episode particularly is both of these geniuses are sitting down on the couch of a guy who tells them that he got his degree online. They immediately are out. They're not going to do this. They're not going to play. This also happens to be the earthquake episode, which I completely forgot. I forgot it was the earthquake episode. Such a great episode. So, earthquake hits. They have to run off to help save the city, find their friends, make sure everybody's okay. But when they get out of the building, they overhear a police officer saying that there's fires in Chinatown. They connect with their other team members who are scattered in multiple areas of the city, and they learn that there is a gas leak, and it is traveling under the city, and if it hits those fires in Chinatown, Chinatown is gone. Or is it Koreatown? Damn it. All of these notes, none of it is what I'm talking about right now. What pages? Pages of notes. This is not what I need. Okay, so they go into the sewer system to find this gas line, and they come across fallen rocks. So they end up doing the team building exercise of moving the rocks. Funnily enough, you guys heard me talk about Wayward in the first episode. That is one of the things that they use as a punishment, but actually creates team building between two of the characters in the show. Instead, it solidifies their friendship and resilience and reliance on each other. That's what happens in Scorpion. The next, they each get injured. They hurt opposite sides of their bodies, and to be able to move together, they have to tie their legs together. So they end up doing all the team building exercises that you would expect in a couples therapy for work partners, because they do make that very clear in this episode that that's what it's for. So we get all of that, even though they leave the office. Then I think it's the next episode or a couple of episodes later, they return for another session because the character of Paige has already paid for them to be doing this. And in that session, they learn about how they've got puppets of each other, they're putting each other in each other's shoes so that they have a better understanding of where the other is coming from. And in that process, Walter learns that Toby and the character of Happy have started a relationship. He freaks out, tells them they can't do it because it's going to ruin the how the team works together. Toby has already expressed multiple times that he's going to focus on Happy more than he's going to focus on the rest of the team in high danger situations. As the episode goes on, and Walter forces Toby to stay back while the rest of the team goes into the desert, Toby expresses to Paige, while they're still on intercoms over and everybody hears, about how Walter is only upset and Paige is only supporting him because they aren't ready to be together. If there's no fraternization allowed, then they can't be together. These episodes help us understand these characters. They add depth. Writers and studios don't expect us as an audience to understand that anymore. And sometimes when I read reviews, they're not wrong. That's how it makes me feel. So in a test, like I said, I asked for some of my friends to share their favorites to see about if I'm right, if my feelings about these shows and these tropes are correct, or if they are a waste of time. Because sadly, I went back and I rewatched one of what I thought was one of my favorite therapy episodes. There's 2 in Hawaii Five-0 upon rewatch. Not the best. It's really just a tool used, because one of them is in the pilot episode, or the season premiere episode of season 15. Season 5. Oy. So it's just setting up, hey, here's where all the characters are at the beginning of this season. And in the second one, Dano and McGarrett are sent to they choose to do their mandated therapy all in one weekend. So McGarrett thinks that he's found a special retreat for business partners like Scorpion, but no, it is an actual legitimate couples therapy weekend. They're the B plot. That episode upon rewatch is great, but it's great because it's a Kamekono centered episode where we learn about his past. We learn about how he had a little brother, how he became a criminal, why he went to jail, and how he started his shaved ice company, and his friendship with with Kelly. Chin-Ho Kelly. There we go. I got there. So we're learning all of that, and it is a deep dive into Kamekono as a character, which is fantastic. But for the therapy episode, we're getting all of the psychological background for Kamekono. We are not getting that on McGarrett and Dano, because it's really just Dano going, my divorce was bad. I have a hard time trusting people. No shit. We're in season 6 on that episode. Let's take a look. See, the point is 5 or 6 seasons of that therapy episode, Hawaii Five-0, season 6, episode 11, Kuliana, if I didn't screw up pronouncing that, which I do apologize if I did. 6 seasons. We know Dano's marriage failed. We know it wasn't good, but he's saying it's because he didn't try hard enough. That when his wife suggested couples therapy and he said no, if he had tried, maybe things would have been a little bit different. It still would have ended the marriage. I was really disappointed in that. My memory told me that that was a great episode. Rewatch showed me it was just an okay episode on that end. The A plot, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, when my friends gave me the Star Trek episodes that I haven't seen before, I wanted to see if my feelings about how these themed episodes, how these trope episodes help explore character development, help us as an audience understand the characters. Am I correct? Does that hold true across different shows that I haven't seen before. Scorpion was an up. I've seen Scorpion, so that my memory, yes, success. 5-0 was a fail. Rewatched the therapy episode of Daria, success. Absolutely helps you out. Musical episode of Daria is a little 50-50. You don't really learn anything new, so I'm kind of putting it over here. But if you're just getting into the show and you watch the musical episode first, it's going to set you up and tell you exactly who all of these characters are. So we're going to start, and I'm going to find all my notes. Star Trek, Strange New Worlds, Subspace Rhapsody, baller name. That is a fucking great episode name. My friend told me that this episode was inspired by the Buffy musical episode Once More with Feeling, and you can see it. It is there step by step. I, in fact, still believe that when somebody says, I have a theory, it is in a direct reference to I have a theory. Total side note, nothing to do with anything. I think now Anya's right. I think it was bunnies. I've had a bunny nemesis. She has every right to distrust them. Why do they need such good eyesight? If I can't see, why should they? Anyways, so watching Subspace Rhapsody, I know everything about that show I need to know now. First off, I will kill to protect Uhura. Yes, I know Uhura is in the original show. I know that Strange New Worlds takes place before the original show. I understand all of that, but bad things could theoretically still happen to her within this series. So it establishes that something has happened to her. It opens up with her on comms. Like, when it opens up with her on comms and then ends with her solving the problem and using communication, fantastic. I know that Pike is in a relationship with another captain on a different ship. I think she was a captain. I can't recall what color she was wearing now, but I know that they have a relationship and they're having communication problems. I know that the security officer that there is a second timeline, and even before they talk about it or mention it, the use of the watch symbolizes that. She pulls out of a watch that belongs to James T. Kirk, but from a different timeline. I can see that. I can see that Spock is in a relationship. I think she was a nurse. Ooh, crazy side note, that bar is amazing. None of the other Star Trek sets had such a nice bar. So that was really dope. Spock is struggling. Like, he seems so much more, like he is open to his human side and understanding his emotions and feeling them. And it seems like in this episode, when she breaks up with him, when the nurse breaks up with him so she can go live her dreams, which that is a great song. I don't know what her struggles are, having never seen the show before, but the amount of passion that she puts into that song, I support her. Leave Spock, go have your life, go do this thing that is so important to you. It was great, and it sets up Spock for giving up on emotions. So when we see Spock later in the original series, it makes more sense why he would be more closed off, as if he stopped trying to learn emotions. And like, his heartbreak in that episode seems like a fantastic trigger for the rest of his story in the Star Trek universe. So that was fantastic. Just some highlights that I have here, just because I wanted to share them. Zipper Beam was hilarious, like just such a funny idea. The Flying Blind song from the security officer, loved it when she's saying that she wants to learn to let go, to be more vulnerable. It is a very interesting having that back to back with Spock, who is shutting down, and she's learning to be more open because she does what you're not supposed to, and she tells James, she tells Kirk that they had a separate life together, and even though he shuts her down, he feels bad about it because he's already in a relationship. That character is now still more likely to be more open and more expressive and more trusting than she ever was before. Spock is going to shut down. He's going to hold back on his emotions, be less human, be more Vulcan, be more literal and rational. It was just really good. I know these characters. This story opened up and said, hey, here's a person who's never seen the show, but is now obsessed with the show, and probably when I finish Scorpion, if I don't get distracted first and just jump right over, I'm way more likely to watch all of Strange New Worlds now than I was before by watching just one themed musical episode. That is going to carry us over to Star Trek The Next Generation. Going through all my notes. Maybe I'll make this a song. Okay, the Asylum episode. That was Frame of Mind from Season 6, Episode 21. And then we also had the Data-centric episode, Phantasm, Season 7, Episode 6. The pages got stuck together, so I thought I had one page of notes on each of them, but no, I gotta flip through here. Okay. These ones are a little bit harder to say, hey, this episode fully engulfed me in this universe. The Frame of Mind did a much better job than Phantasms did. Phantasms is a really good episode. Do not get me wrong by any means. It was great. Data has downloaded this new dream. Like, it sets it up. I've seen several episodes. I know who Data is, but this episode really sets it up so that if you are an outsider coming in, you know that Data is a robot of some kind. He has downloaded a program to help him dream, to help him have these more human experiences, and he's experiencing nightmares for the first time. And he experiences what they're going to refer to as walking dreams. He becomes violent and he attacks the counselor. But it's all because his mechanical mind, I can't remember exactly what Data is, I apologize again, have not consistently watched the show, only seen an episode here or there over the past 30-something years. So he's seeing these terrifying tick creatures on everyone, but it's at a frequency only he can see that the others can't, and he attacks the counselor, but it's him attacking the creature that's on her, not her. So this is a very good character-centric episode that Data is expressing he wants to be more human. He gets a little frightened at the idea that he can't have these dreams. Nightmares are scary. Like, yeah, man, nightmares are scary. Full agree. You are not wrong there. So when they say, hey, you should turn off this program, we don't know, you're becoming a little more violent, you're not doing your job properly, things are a little off, he gets sad. So that sucked. It fits more in... It doesn't stand as well as a stand-alone episode to introducing someone to the show, but it's a very good episode, and I was still able to understand everybody on the spaceship. So, on the Enterprise, I was able to understand everyone on the Enterprise. I liked it. I enjoyed it. It made me want to watch a little bit more. What made me What made me want to watch even more was Frame of Mind. I can't. Okay, so I don't really think either of these classify, like Phantasms. He does go to the counselor, he goes to Sigmund Freud. They try a therapeutic way to analyze the dreams when it's actually a bit more literal. So yes, I think that one is fine as a therapy episode. The Asylum episode, I don't think fully counts. Frame of Mind might not fully count as an asylum because Riker is, god damn, it was so good. He was so good in that opening scene and throughout the whole episode. I watched Frame of Mind before Phantasms, and it made me want to watch all of Next Generation, where if I had done it reversed, I would have been like, yeah, it's alright. It's good. It's just there. It's good. I liked it. But I can't remember the actor's name, and it's one I know. So his performance, starting with he's in an asylum. You don't know who he's talking to, but then it turns out to be a play, but then he's seeing someone that he's never seen before. And then he's back in the asylum, but then he's asleep, but then he's back on the starship. Like, it goes back and forth, and I don't know where I am. Riker doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know who he is. Did he kill a guy? Did he not kill a guy? Why is that woman talking to a spoon? It was so good. It was so good. It ends up that in this whole process, Riker had gone on an undercover mission, gotten captured, and his mind was being experimented on. So that is what the going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, where you don't know where you are as an audience member. You don't know where Riker is. You don't know if he's crazy. Did he imagine this whole thing? Is he even part of Starfleet? Fucking great. It was so dang good. When they break him out, I was like, okay, that's it. They did it. He's out this time. No, he wasn't out. It's still in his mind until the very end. This episode now would be classified as, hey, this is a standalone episode where we just want this actor to get an award for his performance. I don't fucking care. Give it to him. I hope he got one. I'll give him an award now. I'll make one up. Like, it was just so good. These themed episodes help us understand characters. So even if the show has been running for 5 to 7 years or longer, you learn more about them. It digs and allows us to see layers of characters. Once More with Feeling is the greatest musical episode ever. Just flat out ever. And it's from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's crazy. Lucifer has a musical episode. Yes, this is when it's after it's gone to Netflix and the seasons are a little bit shorter, but they trusted in the use of a musical episode for when God finally comes to Earth to try and understand his son and his children and what their choices have been. Let me look at this insane list, okay? Bank robbery episodes. My favorite one. Psych. Gus walks into a bank. Absolutely great. 911. Ocean's 911. They break into a bank vault to save Hen and another other guy who's in there. Castle. The episode Cops and Robbers. It helps you understand where his relationship with Beckett is. I think that was the moment when his daughter learns about his relationship with Beckett. I think. I did rewatch it earlier this year. I don't recall. Daredevil Born Again, shorter series. This one's a little. This is a hit and miss episode where he is in the bank. When it gets robbed. That whole series is its own conversation, and that episode feels really out of place because you can tell all of the issues that that show had trying to figure out what it was, where it was. Like, it's both a lighter episode, but fits into Matt Murdock's process and where he is and trying to figure out who he is as a hero in this new world. Movie inspired episodes. The most famous, like I said, every show used to have at some point a Christmas special of It's a Wonderful Life, or they did it at some other point. It didn't have to be a Christmas episode. These episodes, the Asylum episode of the original Quantum Leap, fan-frickin-tastic. They stick in your mind, and they're the reason why beneath my television, I have stacks upon stacks of DVDs from TV shows you can't find anywhere else. Because those themed episodes, those trope episodes, stick in your mind. They help you love and remember these characters and make you want to go back to them. These shorter seasons, how things are now, where writers and executives don't trust us as an audience. They don't take the risks. They want tried and true. They want the money in the bank. They want it short, clean cut. We want filler episodes back. I do. Let me know if you do. Help me out. What is your favorite show? What is your favorite themed episode? Your favorite trope episode? Give me some suggestions. I'm always looking for something new to watch and do. Like I said, even though there's not enough hours in the day or enough time to watch it all or see it all, point me in a direction. Share your opinions. Do you agree with me? Is Once More with Feeling the greatest musical episode of all time? Am I a fool for having not already been in love with Strange New Worlds and in love with Uhura? Like, I feel foolish. That's a fair assumption to have. Alright. Anyways, that is what has been going on in my geekdom, and I really appreciate you guys visiting. I'm still looking to do an individual episode for the 911 Season 9 premiere. I have some deep feelings on that I really want to share. They're probably going to make some people angry. It's mostly positive when I say that. I have feelings about Buck. Baby Buck, I love him and I will protect him with all my heart. But he needs a better therapist than his newborn nephew. Alright, guys. Thanks again, and I'll see you next time.